Well, we got some things to talk about. What is up, Finn fans? Was expecting today's video to just be about Mike McDaniel's presser and the things that he talked about during the presser, which was a few things and a few interesting things to say the least. But as you can tell by the now title of the video, we have some cap space because of one of our team captains, Terron Armstead. And we're going to jump right into that news. Not going to beat around the bush on that one. Terron Armstead plans to take his contract down to the minimum. I'm told from the $28.6 million he was set to make. That allows the team to make all necessary moves they want to make and allow Armstead 33 to be on the team until he makes a decision on his future. You might be asking yourself, well, what the crap does that mean? Well, Barry Jackson broke it down perfectly, saying that creates $14 million in cap space. Had he simply been cut before June 1st, the cap savings would have been $4.3 million. So we save an extra like $10 million. And it keeps alive the possibility that he stays. Also, Chris Kaufman said this looks like preparation H for either a retirement or a post-June 1st release. Mike McDaniel foreshadowed this earlier today. We'll get into the pressers. In his press conference, there may remain a chance they strike a deal to remain a Dolphin for one more year, but that's not necessarily how this trends, which is incredibly interesting looking at how I'm just pulling up the cap space where we're sitting at right now in cap space, because the Miami Dolphins are sitting at about $722,000. I'll see if Terron Armstead's change did not affect it yet. So as of right now, the Miami Dolphins are sitting at $722,000. With this move from Terron Armstead, we are sitting at $14 million and some change, or maybe around $15 million in cap space, which puts us up about here above the Baltimore Ravens. And that is just the tip of the iceberg, because again, if the Miami Dolphins decide that they want to restructure Chubb, Jackson, and Sealer, that creates another $24 million, which would put us at $38 million up on the cap space. And then of course there's that whole situation with Tua Tagovailoa creating $19 million, which would put Dolphins around $57 million in cap space. I, again, would not touch Tua's contract. I would, I talked about this ad nauseum, but having that $38 million and then all the other moves I would do, the Dolphins would be in a fantastic cap situation to do what they need with how they're going to do it. So Terron Armstead doing what he did and reducing his cap hit, and then the Dolphins deciding, okay, is he going to retire now? Are we going to cut him post June 1st? All these things. I love the fact that it gives him, he says, I don't know if I'm ready yet. This is what I'm getting. He's sitting back and saying, I don't know. I want to play, but then he's probably like, I remember the Jets game where my body was just not wanting to do it. I don't know where I stand, but I also don't want to limit what you guys can do this season and what you can add and everything by you waiting on me. So let's work out a deal. And it's a very team captain move. It's a very team first move. It's a very, he loves the Dolphins, and you can tell he loves the Dolphins. He loves the players that are on the team, Tua, all these guys. And that move alone shows it by taking such a huge cap reduction and saving us $14 million that we could put towards multiple players or one really big player. So really good move by Terron Armstead. Can't thank him enough for being a professional and just, being a team leader and really coming out and being like, I don't know, he's different. It's a huge move to make where you call it quits, right? So he wants that time to think about it. There's the rumors out there that Gronkowski might want to come back, and it's like, why? So just big shout out to Terron there. So now let's get into some of the things that Mike McDaniel said. Fun fact is, one of the first things he said is Dolphins coach Mike McDaniel said Terron Armstead is not yet ready to make a decision by the team, but the team will operate as if he won't be there. So now they have that $14 million to operate as if he won't be there. Patrick Paul, who looked more lean in that picture over the weekend, might be that guy. They're obviously going to want to add depth. Obviously, we're going to need guards, so that move there really helped us. McDaniel said on the tush push, because if you know that the Green Bay Packers don't want it to be a legal move anymore, and it's not about QB sneaking, it's about literally just having 3 guys behind your quarterback and just pushing him forward. That's why some people call it the tush push, and Jalen Hurts doesn't like being called the tush push, is because the running backs and the fullback that are behind the quarterback literally just push his butt. The quarterback does nothing. I saw one of their plays where Jalen Hurts' feet weren't on the ground and they were just moving him forward. Like, he doesn't do anything, and he has all these rushing touchdowns. It's just pushing your guy forward. The interior offensive line, dive down, take the defensive lineman out, and you just grab the quarterback and just ram him forward. So, the Green Bay Packers want to get rid of it. Some teams, I think the Kansas City Chiefs, because Chris Jones got a little banged up with the play. These defensive linemen that are in the front get hurt sometimes with how they get piled on. So we'll see. But Mike McDaniel said, I have a hard time making things illegal because of success. I just think it's annoying. It's like when you're playing somebody in Street Fighter or Mortal Kombat and they just keep doing the same move over and over and over again and they beat you. It's just not fun. Dolphins coach Mike McDaniel said they're looking at both veterans and rookies for the backup quarterback position. I could see that. I definitely want a vet, and we'll talk about that. I think next week we'll go into that, where I go into who the Dolphins are who I would target in free agency for the Dolphins, and obviously we'll look at draft quarterbacks. There's a lot, good, decent bunch that you can get 3rd round and after. Tyreek Hill. Mike McDaniel said Tyreek Hill had wrist surgery. It was a ligament issue, not a broken wrist. While understanding it could appear that the change at wide receiving coach had to do with keeping Tyreek Hill in order, he said that wasn't the case. He spoke highly of what he thought of his time with Wes Welker. So kind of addressed earlier today's video, which I think is interesting. But yes, Tyreek Hill did have his wrist wrapped, and he had the surgery because of a ligament issue. It wasn't a broken bone. McDaniel said the plan is for Hill to resume catching the football in the summer near training camp. He will spend the spring running and recovering. So you're not going to see a lot of Tyreek Hill and OTAs and minicamp and yada yada. Drew Rosenhaus said he will be ready for training camp. We will see. We will see. Mike McDaniel said on Javon Holland's free agency, he said, Javon has earned the right to go out and test the market. In layman's terms, from Mike McDaniel and Chris Grier, that term is goodbye, Javon Holland. Because every time they have said that, insert free agent has earned the right to go out and test the market, they have gone. Robert Hunt, Christian Wilkins. You can run down the list of players that they have said, they have the right to test it. And then they were gone. Mike McDaniel said the expectations are very high for the duo of Devon Achane and Jalen Wright in 2025, and expect the team to add 2 to 3 more backs to the room. Raheem Mostert was released a week ago, and Jeff Wilson is a free agent. Yeah, I think we all saw that. We have 2 running backs on the team. I'm interested to see. I think one of them will be drafted. And I think you might get 2 vets added. It's going to be very interesting. While will resume catching this summer, agent Drew Rosenhaus, while not addressing the surgery, said he'll be fine for training camp, which I talked about. Dolphins had a couple of linemen targeted in free agency. Mike McDaniel said, McDaniel says, it's time for us to invest in the position in free agency and the draft. It only took 3 years. So they have a couple of linemen targeted in free agency. These linemen better not be old, and they better not be injury prone, because that is the MO of Chris Grier and the Miami Dolphins when it comes to offensive linemen. Get them at the back end of their career, or get them when they can't stay healthy. But they're gonna invest in the draft and free agency. Chris Kaufman said this, which I thought was very interesting. He said, talking about Tyreek Hill's surgery and all that stuff. He said, interesting that he chose to provide this level of detail on an off-season surgery. Also interesting, he chose to contradict what Tyreek Hill and his agent has said about the nature of the injury. Some people are just scratching their heads about that one. It's a load of barnacles. This is from the Cap to give you guys more understanding on the Terron Armstead situation. If Armstead doesn't intend to retire, the two sides can restructure the 2025 base salary to a minimum to set up the reserve/retire on June 2nd. That would create blah, blah, blah. They already did that, so I don't know why I'm telling you that. And I think that's all I got for you. That is all I got for you. So in a nutshell, what Mike McDaniel told us is that they're going to invest in the offensive line, whether in free agency and not whether, in free agency and in the draft. They want to invest in the backup quarterback position in free agency and the draft. Tyreek Hill's not going to do anything till training camp because he had surgery on his wrist, not a broken bone, but ligament damage. Your 1-2 punch as of right now is Achane and Jalen Wright, but they will add more running backs, 2 to 3 of them. We all fully expected that. Terron Armstead is a beautiful human being who took a cap reduction to help us out. Welker was not fired because of Tyreek Hill. We can all take that with a grain or whatever. He's obviously not going to come out and say, yep, that's why he was fired. And Javon Holland's gone because he said he has the right to test free agency. One other thing I do want to talk about before we get out of here is this tweet that was released today, saying that the Commanders have had trade conversations centered around Pro Bowl defensive lineman Jonathan Allen. Washington plans to do right by the player Allen and essentially trading him. He has 1 year left at $15 million. And I think I talked about it last season, how, that would be a nice possibility for Miami. It still can be a possibility for Miami. The only way I would do it, because you're going to have to pay him because it's a 1 year contract, is it has to be like a fifth. It has to be a late round pick, and I'm not paying him a lot of money. And I say this because, one, he's been injured, and two, the defensive tackle, and I talked about this when I previewed the Combine. I think I put that video out on Sunday. The defensive tackle depth in this draft is deep. You can get like two good either starters or serviceable players in the second and third round in this one if you don't take one in the first. Like, you don't have to overpay for Jonathan Allen. So if I'm the Dolphins, I say, hey, I'll throw you a fifth rounder for him. I think we have 2 5s. And if they say, sure, cool. But Jonathan Allen also realized you're not going to get paid top money, because it would be nice to partner Jonathan Allen with Sealer. I think that'd be a nice 1-2 combination, but we'll see. We'll see about that. But comment below. Let me know what you think, what Mike McDaniel had to say. Let me know what you think about what Terron Armstead did for the Miami Dolphins. I have a video planned for tomorrow off of what Cameron Wolfe had to say. And then Thursday starts the Combine on the field stuff. And I think tomorrow also there's press conferences with the players. So this is going to be a busy week. So if you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you tomorrow. Like usual, stay classy. Fins up.